Hey guys, what's up? My name is Jonathan Conrad. I'm starting AppAcademy tomorrow. This will be the September 24th cohort 2018 from the 24th of September until December 14th. Today is September 23rd. It is approximately almost 9 p.m. I just wanted to talk about my journey, and for now, I'm stepping into this 90-day fully immersive full stack program. And I want to talk about what I've done to get up to this point, because when I first started a year ago learning how to code from nothing, I had no idea what I was doing. It was really hard for me to find people who were doing it or people who were talking about it and kind of giving clear directions on what they did. And I'm just going to go step by step on what I did to get where I am now. And then I'm going to say some of the things that I think really helped me and what I think would be best if you're somebody who's just starting out and you have the ability to do certain learnings, I guess I could say. So I started coding October 2017. It was around October 14th or 15th. I made a deal with my now wife. I said, look, I'm going to learn how to code. I was working in a restaurant industry, and I helped open up a restaurant. It was a really rough experience. I did a lot of work, but I realized that it just wasn't for me, and I've always been a creative. So I was looking at what does the world of coding look like. So I dove deep into just looking at as many programs as possible, and what I discovered was Hack Reactor first. So I looked into Hack Reactor, and I decided to take their prerequisite full time. And what that is a remote program. It's about 8-9 hours a day, Monday through Friday. You have the weekends off. And after the first week of doing that, with no experience whatsoever, I felt completely overwhelmed. I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I needed to try a part-time program. So I decided to go to a part-time program about a week after starting the full-time immersive. After doing that, here's the things you don't want to do. First, do not, and I repeat, do not try to do other things when you have important parts of your prerequisites going on. Meaning, you have assessments and prerequisites. When you go into any pre-boot camp, you're going to have assessments that basically work with you to see how well you're taking on the information and whether you can pass certain tests. I was producing events when I was doing it. I remember sitting in a room with 300 people in Los Angeles taking my first assessment and completely failing it because I thought I could do so much at once. This is me. This is my personal experience. Maybe you are beyond capable of doing multiple things at the same time. I realize for me, I'm not. I also realize, secondly, I'm not good at doing remote learning. I need somebody there that I can talk to, ask questions to. And unfortunately, where I was in Hack Reactor, I wasn't able to do that. It was all remote. I did have one guy, Michael, who would do pair programming with me. He was one of the assistants and one of the teachers with the remote program. And we'd spend 2.5 hours working on problems. And that was fantastic. But I just didn't grasp enough, and I couldn't pass the assessment, and I didn't get into Hack Reactor. It was completely upset about that. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What ended up happening was I ended up moving to New York, getting married, going on a honeymoon, and I was like, it's cool, when I get back from the honeymoon, I'm going to take the Hack Reactor prep boot camp again, and then I'm going to pass this, and I'm going to go into a July cohort. First thing to know for everybody, if you're going to go for a cohort, realize you have 30 days. You have to be ready and pass tests and show them that you can do it 30 days prior to whatever your cohort was. I didn't do that, so there was no way I could get into a July cohort because I didn't pass the test. And even if I did, there's about 30 days of prereqs you have to do to move into the program. There's 30 days of work, 100 plus hours of work just to get into a cohort. Okay, you pass, you're in it, and then you have to work, And then that allows you, once you get into the cohort, to actually make sense of what's going on with all the information. So like what happened to me was I missed that deadline because I was like, cool, I'll pass it and I'll get in. But I was like, cool, I'll get in 7 days after I like figure this all out. I'll go right into my cohort. Couldn't do it. Really screwed myself on that one. Then I started doing research. My wife was like, there's a place called AppAcademy, really amazing program. And there's a boot camp that you can go to now that we moved to New York. There's one in New York and one in San Francisco. You can go to that. It's a couple of $1,000s, but that's actually a good thing when it comes to getting into AppAcademy, which you'll learn about when you look it up. But the best thing about it was a 4-week program, and it was basically from 6 o'clock, 6:30 to 9:30 every day. I did 6 to 9, 6 to 9:30 pretty much every day. I came early and I left late. And the reason this was so fantastic for me, it's all JavaScript. The reason it was fantastic was it allowed me to sit in a classroom setting with other people who were learning to program and ask as many questions as I needed to and have other people around me that I could pair program with. And that collective consciousness of learning, by far the best thing in the world for me. And having somebody who will just walk over when you're like, hey, I have a question. Fantastic. Also, the curriculum with AppAcademy was phenomenal. The pre-boot camp, they basically give you assessments every Monday, but over the weekend they give you an example assessment to really allow you to test the knowledge you need to know to understand the assessment that's coming up. Whereas in Hack Reactor, I didn't really feel like I ever knew what the assessment was going to be. We had 160 problems-ish that we needed to solve, all on our own time. And it was really hard for me to do that without somebody next to me where I could say, hey, I'm not quite sure how this algorithm or this function works. The pre-boot camp for AppAcademy was fantastic. It was night and day from the experience I had with Hack Reactor. Not to say Hack Reactor is not an incredible program, it is. But the AppAcademy pre-boot camp in person changed everything for me. It's a month. After that month was over, I ended up studying for another week. I took 2 practice technical interviews. The first one I did okay with. I was nervous. I'm not good at tests. And then the second one I did fantastic. And then I took my real one, which I did really well on. I had a great person who interviewed me. And then I did a non-technical, which is part of the experience. You do a non-technical interview as well. And once I did that, I ended up getting accepted into the boot camp around September 18th or 19th. I'm sorry, August 18th or 19th. So I had to do this 100 hours of prerequisite, work a job, and make sure I was still able to function as a human being, as a married human being with a dog. I did all of that, passed all of it, and now I'm starting the cohort tomorrow. And the reason I'm sharing this with everybody is a lot of people are like, what do I do? How do I do it? There were people in my AppAcademy prep that had never coded ever and were able to get through all the coding in this pre-prep boot camp, and they passed. And now some of them are coming to the cohort with me this September. The other thing I want you guys to know is I did Code Wars. Fun Function is an incredible YouTube channel where this wacky guy talks about just JavaScript and higher order functions, and just he really breaks it down for you to better understand JavaScript, and he does it in a fun, interesting way. That's probably one of the best resources if you're trying to learn JavaScript and you want to have fun while you're doing it. Fun Functions is a phenomenal channel on YouTube. But just so you know, I deep dove into everything. I learned JavaScript as much as I possibly could. A lot of it was on my own. I did Stack Overflow. I did everything I could to learn. I went to Udacity. I took Swift courses. I went to Udemy, and I learned more JavaScript. And then with this whole prerequisite with AppAcademy, I've learned Ruby to a subpar level, but I know Ruby well enough that I can make it function and do a lot with it. Where I've even made games like Battleship and Hangman, and I mean, you name it. We've built it on the console, which is incredible. But I just wanted to share all this with you guys to say a few things. It's frustrating. It's hard. It is a challenge. I'm 35. I haven't been in school, a real school. I ended up going straight out of high school to not do college. I went into the entertainment industry in Los Angeles, where I was doing film and television. I was an actor. I was in front of the camera and behind the camera. All I wanted to do was like work in that industry. And so I decided to skip the college experience to go straight into the entertainment industry and go from the bottom and work my way up. So I haven't had to learn in this way in about 15 years. So it was a challenge to learn and to understand how to re-engage my brain and take in information, especially when there are times that now I look at a problem and I go, oh my gosh, that's so funny how hard that was for me and how easy it actually is. But it took, like, I'm talking frustrated moments in the car where I'm like tearing up because I can't figure out what my bug is and why it's not working, to not even understanding what a higher order function is or an anonymous function, like to even understanding what the heck a function is. And I think something to really wrap your mind around is watch videos, if you're a visual person like me, of people making games, of people creating an actual program. Like, watch why when they make this function, it's relevant to what they're doing and what they're creating. Because when you just see a bunch of functions and a bunch of data types and you're just staring at all this information, for me, I was really frustrated. I'm like, what the heck is this all doing if I wanted to make a program? Like, I didn't grasp it. I'm still not sure when I write out an algorithm. I get like what it is if I'm like sorting an array, or if I'm like the bubble sort, right? Everybody talks about bubble sort. When I'm doing something like that, I go, okay, I guess I get where this is. This is to sort information. Like if I had a website and somebody said, I want to see lowest price to highest price, that's sorting, and that's where the algorithm comes in. So I get that, but watch people make things online. Watch how they build their code, and then how that code actually functions inside their games, like why, or in their program, or in their app. Like, there's so many great opportunities and great videos on YouTube where you can watch it. And for me, it helps you understand why. I'm like a why person. Why is this happening and why are we doing this? And if I don't know why I'm creating a function or why I'm creating lines of code and how that actually operates within a program, I just was like, I don't understand why I'm building these things. Like, give me a real life example. So I think that's really important to do is don't be afraid to watch videos and go to meetups. That's the next thing I would say. Go to meetup.com and find JavaScript meetups, find Ruby meetups, find coding meetups. Go to conferences if you can in your hometown. Just do whatever you can to get around people and ask a billion questions. I started out afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid, man. Ask questions. It's how you learn. It's how you understand things. So I know the lighting's crazy. It's hard for me as somebody that used to be in the film industry to be like this, but I don't have time to buy all this gear. My camera broke, my really nice DSLR, so I'm doing my iPhone. But I'm gonna try to do a video as much as possible, and they'd probably be like this really crazy handheld iPhone experience. But I'm gonna talk about my experience because it's really hard to hear how people feel when they go through these camps. It's hard to get it. And I want to share it with you guys when I'm raw, when I'm tired, when I've been up for 12 hours and I don't understand a concept. I want to give you guys that experience because I think it will help people go, oh, that's what it's really like. Because I didn't find anything out there that really helped me understand that. So this is a long video. I apologize. You can fast forward it if you ever need to. But I'm speaking from my heart on what I've done and what's happened so far. And it's been a journey, but I'm excited to start tomorrow, but I'm also kind of scared shitless. Because I know there's a lot about to happen, and it's 3 months of my life of pretty much nothing but coding is going to happen. Crazy. So anyway, with that, guys, hopefully I'll talk to you guys tomorrow and tell you how the first day was.